So I waited to the last 5 minutes of my time in Vietnam in Da Nang in one of the nicest hotels I've ever stayed in to do some sort of a podcast or do something around the am I okay, and it's probably around the authenticity of this trip. Um, this place is magnificent. It's got a buffet breakfast. We had massages allowance every single day. Um, and it was crazy. It was less than like 150 Australian per night, which is mind blowing to me and not something that I'm even used to. Um, and it's just luxurious, people made every day. And it was funny because the first night after I'd flown in after no sleep, I got to my room and was just sitting here. I didn't know what to do. Was just tired, exhausted, and it was the ability to know that I'd got something that everyone else had talked about, and I still wasn't happy. I was just lost in, is this me? Is this what I want to do? I don't even know. Um, and I think there are the points on the trip that you need. Um, the only reason why I say this is people try to put a perception or a persona that the luxury stuff is nice, and it is nice. Like, it really is. But it's also knowing internally where you're coming from and what you enjoy most. My highlights of my time in Da Nang was a night market with my mate Koi, and him, bartering, uh, and my clothes smelled of smoke, and it's dodging you in these little seats, and we got like 30 oysters for about $7 Australian, which is unheard of, and they were nice. Because he can speak Vietnamese, and that culture, that enjoyment, also been sick for the last couple of days, on and off. And I don't want to come across this as, oh, woe is me, or this is what you can do. Because I feel like it's both and. I, this is the first overseas trip that I've had in over 7 years. I caught up with a mate in Brisbane just before I left who was on the Kentucky back in 2017. And that was the last time I'd actually been overseas genuinely and done a genuine trip, not to New Zealand, not to another part of Australia. So I've been so focused on personal development and the theory of personal development as opposed to just experiencing this. And so this trip has almost been like an experiment onto what is it that I like, what is it that I don't. We went to Barnard Hills, which was like $60, and we spent an hour there. Most of the time was on the gondola going up and down, and there was hordes, buses, like hundreds of buses of people coming into this place, and it was just fabricated experiences. And after that, I ended up going to Marble Mountain, which is like quite a little spiritual place that emperors would actively go out of their way, according to Google, to go and visit on their path through the country. And that was like 60,000 dong, which is the equivalent of less than $5 to see both caves and the mountains. And that was a much more rewarding experience walking around and seeing all that. Um, and even the idea that I thought I was going to walk 10 k's back to the hotel, when in fact I got a K and was like, nah, fuck it, I'll grab a Grab, which is like the back of the bike, and I had no internet, and so I had to pull down a Grab driver, and they didn't have a helmet, so he got another Grab with another driver to then take me back to my hotel. Um, and so uh, it's been an intense experience, but it hasn't been overly bad, and there's way more to speak about. I say all this in context for me trying to figure out how is it that I want to do holidays? What is it that I like about overseas travel? Am I okay feeling sick and still going to the barber? That was like 100,000 dong, which is like $7 or $8. Getting grabs for $2. Getting food, going to markets. Do I actually like a slightly more luxurious holiday? And I feel like I like to navigate in between, the full rounded experience. We came back past Hyven Pass on the back of bikes, and there was this massive Japanese hotel and resort in Da Nang, and it was so Japanese that if you're a Japanese person, why the fuck do you fly a few hours all the way to Vietnam to experience idealized Japan? It's like going to an Aussie bar in Bali. It just doesn't quite make sense from a cultural understanding. And I don't even feel like I've really had a depth of cultural experience here. I'm looking at the time because we're just about to check out. I really wanted to make this video. And so I want to put this up as a real, authentic pinch point to myself to realize that online and what you portray online often doesn't exist. And a lot of people that I see on social media aren't who they say they are. I think what I'm trying to do with this podcast is to try and get as close to being the person that you see on the video or on social media as to who I am in person. And maybe I'm not that person, but that is the thing that I rate most highly about people that I follow, that I believe they are who they say they are. Because I feel like that's genuinely missing. That we like a highlighted version of who they think they are as opposed to who they genuinely are. It's almost like I saw recently a quote from Chris Bumstead on the Chris Williamson podcast. If you haven't realised, I'm definitely fanboying Chris Williamson at the moment. And it was that you put everything on social media, you can put everything to your friends, but your kids really know who you are. They'll get the unfiltered version of who you generally are when you show up. And so it's when you're home, when you're alone, who is it that you are? How is it that you act? How is it that you say and portray and act in this world? What is it that you really kind of want? For me, it just highlights having a chat with a mate that I caught up with Danae, that I met through personal development and coaching, Jay. And it was kind of this idea of I'm so passionate about trying to help people generally navigate the balance between when they feel okay to when they start feeling not okay, and further not okay, and not able to tell anyone that they're okay. And it's okay to tell everyone else to say it's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay for you to feel not okay. And if that isn't a fucking mindfuck, then you're probably almost somewhere close to understanding what you need to do. And so it is generally finding the ability to be able to have genuine, honest conversations and feel like the world is real. I've got mates for that, and would love to do another podcast sometime soon around the importance of having good people around you, authentic people. I wanted to be a coach for so long, and I feel like I'm good at asking questions and helping people to understand, but sometimes people don't want to change. And I love talking and having a conversation more so, and just generally helping people rather than trying to have a massive financial uptick at the front in order to try and get an advice. I don't think I'm the richest, most successful, most intelligent person in the world, but I do feel like I'm curious enough to try and navigate this not feeling okay, because I felt it so often, and I've heard so many guys feel that recently, just in conversations, that it resonates with so many guys. To summarise this Vietnam trip, I really wanted to do this video because my phone is on my case to hide the fact that I had a cool apartment in Vietnam, and to realise that it isn't all what it's portrayed on social media to be. However, I generally believe that I am in a good, not okay place, in the idea of I don't feel like I'm set on my 5-year, 10-year, 100% plan. but I've got all the systems and people around me to support me to keep flowing up and down into what it generally feels like and how to navigate it. And to say that just because somebody's got this beach cool property with a microphone and a camera and is posting content doesn't mean that they're generally okay. It's the ideal version of what people feel like they should have, but I don't think people are really authentic enough to find in themselves what they enjoy. Because I enjoy this, but I love coming back to this after going and running or doing a hike in Marble Mountain for fuck all money to getting 30,000 dong coffees to like going to the markets and getting food. To have the paradox of the two experiences. I need that to feel interesting and whole. Sign off with this to curious if you could leave in the comments or chat to a mate around what is something that you've been putting off for so long that is quite easy to fix by just doing the thing. It took me 7 years to go to fucking Vietnam. What is the thing that is longer or less time, hopefully way less time, that you've been saying you're going to do but not actually doing it? And actually going and fucking doing it. Cheers.